Okay, so we're at the back of under the big top where my machines are located, and we're gonna go ahead and start fixing up DrumMania. Now, a few things to note before I actually get started. To move this, I had to take off the kick pedal. Kick pedal's over there. There's some notes here. I have this thing that displays a band, kind of explains how to do session play. That's gonna be taken off because they're not gonna be able to be linked anymore, because Guitar Freaks will be running V3 and DrumMania's gonna be running V8. I got DrumMania codes here. I have an updated sheet, so this could be taken off the machine. And this mess of wiring and tools is all from the machine. We got session cables, which go from the bottom of the cabinet here, and then there's a whole other bunch of cables that went to the Guitar Freaks cabinets, and they all come through that hole right there. So there's a ton of cables, a big mess I made, and a lot of this is going to be going away, thankfully, so I won't have to deal with it anymore. So let's go ahead and start the PCB swap. Okay, so what was wrong with my machine for a really long time was this light that was up here, it burnt out. So I went and I got a replacement for it, but the replacement bulb, not only is it it's a very unusual size, but there was a problem with the ballast in here. So when I got the light bulb, I put it in here, it kept flickering, and I'm just like, oh, come on, are you kidding me? It burnt out the light bulb, the ballast, or something like that. So I went, okay, so it's probably the ballast here. So I went, I got a new replacement of the ballast, I put it in, and it didn't start the bulb, it kept flickering, so I'm just like, huh, it's very, very strange. So I'm gonna assume what was wrong with the top here, the top light, was this thing right here, but as you can see, I just put in this whole new thing here because I'm not gonna bother replacing this thing. I'm not sure what exactly is and how replaceable it is because I'm not a light expert. I'm an arcade technician, so I decided to put this whole new kind of fluorescent light fixture in here, and it was pretty easy swap. Once I knew how everything wires. With the normal electrical outlet, it was a pretty simple swap. So let me pull on this a little bit more. Okay, so what I did was I cut the original connector that went to this right here. That's what this part right here is. This half of the connector, and this is coming from my machine. So we got ground, which this was only a 2-prong outlet, so it didn't use ground. Then we got neutral, which is blue, and then hot, which is the brown in this case. So all I did was I cut the power cable off of this fluorescent light fixture, and I put neutral and neutral together, and I just wired them, twisted them, taped them down, and then I did for the hot as well. So I did all that, so now it's going to be a nice little fixture in here. I screwed them down so this thing doesn't move, and then on top of it I hot glued the sides here. So if I do need to ever remove it, it will be easy, and I can kind of just scrape away the hot glue. It doesn't leave too much damage. And yeah, so it was just easier to put it in with the screws and then put some hot glue on the side just to make sure that if I were to move this ever, this thing's not going anywhere. But let me show you what it looks like now with the light when I turn it on. So go ahead. Ooh, you know what? Shoot. Forgot I do not have the outlet plugged in, so let's go do that real quick. Let's throw this over here. It's a mess in here, I know. I tend to make messes when I'm doing this kind of stuff. So, sorry if the camera's going all over the place here. There we go. Okay, so let's try this again. And we got power on. Gonna come over here. And there you go. Got a new light fixture in there. It looks good. I did put the marquee on it at one point, but because this glass panel right here is down here, it's kind of hard to put up and kind of show you. You'll see it when it's all finished, this whole project that I'm doing, so you'll be able to see what it looks like with the marquee on top. But that's something that was bugging me for a while. I'm happy I finally got around to fixing it. So it'll be nice when I get a real DrumMania marquee, because this one is such a bootleg. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's plexi, and then there's just this kind of poster material on the back, and that's pretty much how Chinese bootleggers gave out kits. But yeah, so that's an update on the lights on my machine, and I'll be updating you guys shortly with other stuff that I'm restoring on the machine, so stay tuned. Alright, so I just finished hooking up everything to my DrumMania machine, and as you can see,
Freaks V7!
It's running Guitar Freaks, which is a complete accident on my behalf because when I left my house, I grabbed the Guitar Freaks V7 kit instead of the DrumMania V8 kit. So I just threw this in just to be sure that I hooked up everything correctly to my machine, and I did, so that's a really good start here. Let me go ahead and mute this real quick so I don't get interrupted by the announcer here. So let's go ahead and put those down, and let's go around the side here. I'll show you what it looks like now. So before, when I had this in here, let's see, the multi-session unit was up here. That's where it is on every DrumMania cabinet, or it should be up there. So multi-session unit was up here, and the board was right here for DrumMania, which that's the board on top right there. I could still put it in there if I wanted to, but I'm going to be taking it home with me because I don't want it inside of this machine. But anyways, so what I did was I took that out. I took the multi-session unit out, and when I put the board in here, this is a really, really long PCB. It actually doesn't fit on the side right here, so I actually had to put up here. I had to cut the RGB out of the cabinet, which is this port right down here, that went off of the JAMA harness, which is right up here. So now if I were to plug anything in down there, like if I were to plug in an external monitor, which I probably never will, then there would be nothing being shown on it. But that doesn't really matter. 573 power was right here. I just kind of marked it and threw it to the side because obviously the power is a little bit different on this PCB, so I just used a standard power cable and spliced it into here. We got, you know, ground, neutral, and hot, and then I just powered it through, or wired it straight to the PCB's power, which is not very hard at all, and I soldered it just to be safe, make sure everything was going to be secure. Now, as you can see, there's also a few connectors here that still are not hooked up. Now, these do not actually fit in here, like if I show you. It is, I think, 1 or 2 pins. I think it's 2 pins. It's 2 pins too long on the PCB, so I can't plug this in. It does go in this port. This is for the lights, and then this is for the fluorescent bulb at the bass speaker, and that's supposed to plug in down here. Now, I don't have the connectors for this, so I'm going to have to hardwire them in, kind of like I did with this power cable. And I don't have the manual yet, and I'm kind of waiting on someone to scan me the pages of the manual so I can see how that's supposed to go in, so I can get this fully wired up correctly. And of course I'm going to be taking this hard drive out and the dongles down here out and be taking them home with me so I can put in DrumMania when I come back. I did screw this down, so it's not going anywhere either, so there's a screw right down there, so this thing's not moving at all if I were to shake it. Same with this thing, it's wired in down here, so nothing's moving. The COM port is hooked up too, so if I wanted to session this with Guitar Freaks V8 anytime, if I were to get a PCB, it's pretty simple, so I would kind of just wire it straight to the R cabinet right down here. And it is hooked up on the side, and then it will be hooked up on Guitar Freak's side, even though it's not running V3, but the cabinets won't be linked together in any way, so yeah, that is what it looks like now on the back of my machine. As you can see, it's a mess of wiring and other crap over here. And I will be updating you guys very soon, hopefully, once I put in V8 here. And yeah, thanks for watching. Hey guys, it's another day here with me working on the DrumMania machine, and the reason why it's not out on the floor, I did get DrumMania V8 working on it. The reason why it's not on the floor is because my connectors wouldn't fit into the slot 1 and slot 2 on the side for the cabinet lights. And the reason why was because it uses this kind of a GST connector, and if I can find the other one that I completely took off this, I would show you, but this is a mess over here and I can't find it. So what I had to do was I opened this the PC here, and I spliced my own GST connectors that would work from my cabinet into this PCB. So now we got this one, and we got this hacked up one for the lights. Now, this was taken from a breakout panel for a 573 game, and I just wired them. So half the wiring from the original is hacked off, and now they're all connected. So I took half the wiring off of this. I'm going to kind of keep it, so in case I ever decide to sell it, I can include the original piece. And I just put this new connector on, wired it the exact same way, so it's pinned out right. And luckily for me, I didn't have to rewire everything specifically, like I didn't have to cross wires differently or anything, because the breakout is actually straight across for both of the connectors, luckily. So I got both of them out here. The original for the R1 is still in there. So that one's kind of half hacked up, and I'll show you a picture of, probably on the side here, of what it looks like inside of this, because I already closed it, it's already screwed down. I'm not going to take it apart. So yeah, so we're going to put this in my machine and see if it works with the lights now. Hopefully it does. If not, then I probably have really fucked up my board and I'm going to be really pissed off. But I double-checked, triple-checked the wiring, and it should be all right. I haven't used that as a reference, even though I really don't have to, but I triple-checked this thing. So let's hope the lights work on it. Alright, so I am an idiot. When I plugged this in, I noticed that I wasn't getting light from the symbol right up here. And I'm like, that's really weird. I wonder why that is. Everything other than the symbol is working right now. And I went and I knew it was working before I did this, so I'm just like, well, I know it's working. So let me go back to this right here and make sure I wire everything up correctly, make sure I didn't miss anything. Well, apparently I'm super dyslexic because I did. As you can see here, we got pins 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. They go straight across. But then there's a break on the PC side where it bridges the communication cables or the communication ports together. So I had to go ahead and make a bridge right here. It's pin number 1 and pin number 6. Pin number 1 and 6 are bridged, and then that makes pin number 6 go 7, 7 go 8, 8 to go 9, and 9 go 10. Actually, on the connector, pin number 10 on the DrumMania part actually does not get used, so I pulled that one out. So everything should be wired up correctly now, in the way that I needed to get the lights. I don't believe I damaged the machine at all or the PC, but I'll find out in a moment if I did, I guess. The only thing that wouldn't work in this case would be the symbol. So I'm just going to go through this one more time, make sure I got everything wired up correctly. I believe I do. This time I'm really going to make sure, though, so I don't have to open the PC again and go through all that. But yeah, get you guys an update in a minute. Alright guys, I've done it, as you can see in just a second here when it goes through the demo loop. Yep, I got everything wired up correctly this time. If you're wondering why the snare isn't actually lighting up, it's because the little disc that helps it illuminate it, like this one right here, is actually over on that table somewhere, buried. I was working on this pad, I still gotta actually fix it, but I'm going through all the pads and adding new sensors, but we'll talk about that probably later in this video. Let's go around back here real quick and I'll show you the mess I have made out of the wiring. Now, as you can see, this is quite a mess, but You know, the big part about it is the cabinet connectors. I didn't destroy them at all, so if I wanted to put in an old school mix and play it again, it's absolutely not going to be a problem. That's the big thing. And I probably showed this in a different video, but the PC also was up here at one point. I moved it down here because the JAMA harness fits a lot better down here, and I saw a picture of someone else's machine, and this is exactly how it looks set up. Maybe this is in the exact spot, but everything else is. So come down here, you can see we got the different kind of connectors here. This was the confusing one with the bridge connection. You can see the wires sticking up right here. Obviously I'm going to be putting the top of that computer back on this case and putting these connectors through that little hole up there, so it looks a lot nicer. But I am just super happy I got wired up correctly and I didn't do any damage to the machine for busting up the first time. But yeah, now I'm going to be doing all the pads and the kick pedal pretty much to make them work really nicely again, and hopefully I'll have a awesome working DrumMania V8 that everyone can play on. When I'll get to that other part in a second about fixing DrumMania pads. Alright guys, I'm going to be showing you how to replace sensors in your DrumMania machine. Now, the stock ones are going to be looking a little bit different than the ones that we're going to be using, but they're pretty much the same thing. What the sensors actually are, they're piezo sensors. So a really good place you can go to buy these actually is Radio Shack. The part number, as you can see here, is 2730073. I believe that's the part number they use for this peculiar piezo sensor. So make sure you buy this version. It's the exact same size as the stock Konami ones, so that's really important. Now all you're going to do is you're going to open this up, and I know it looks a lot different than, you know, let's see, like something like this where it's a little gold disc, but rest assured that when you open this, it's going to be that gold disc. So all you're going to do is we're going to cut this open, and screw me for not having scissors today because I'm an idiot. Okay, so our piezo sensor open, the package that is. Now we're going to just take the wires, kind of push them out, and this is what it's going to look like when you take it out of the package. Now, to get the little gold disc part out, you're going to have to break the casing off. Now, you have to be a little bit careful because you don't want to break the disc inside, so what you're going to do is you're just going to cut these tabs on the side, kind of push them down in a way, like that. And the same thing for the other side. Just down, in a way. It doesn't matter if you kind of cut it open like that. It does not really matter. And you're going to kind of push in on this side. There will be a little bit of a gap. You can push up with a small flathead screwdriver. It'll pop. And you're just going to push it in and keep popping it all the way around. And then as you can see, there's a little gold disc in there. Now, get this little gold disc out. I really do not recommend pulling on these wires hoping to get out because there's actually glue along the side here that holds it in place. So what you're going to do is kind of grab some cutters like this. And you're just going to go around it. Now be careful when you get to the wires because you don't want to cut those. You're going to get down a little bit close, and slowly break it away. Just like that. I'm going to start over here now. And then once you get this out, it's got to be that little small gold disc. I had used ones, obviously, because you saw there was two wired together. We're not going to actually be wiring them together like that because I actually found out using a single sensor tends to be a lot more sensitive and it works a lot better. So we're not going to worry about doing wiring in parallel and series today. We're just going to worry about putting a single sensor into your machine. And we're almost done here. Just got to get this last little bit off. And that should be the last little chunk. Okay, now if you're to pull on these, it should probably pop out. Sometimes it's a little bit tough, but yeah, that one popped right out. So nice and easy. Okay, now you got your piezo sensor out, and what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna want to stick this down here. That's gonna be your sensor for this pad. Now, when you get this, if you have never exchanged one of the sensors in one of these pads, and the hi-hat and the cymbal, the sensor's up here. I have no idea why you put them up there, to be honest. I feel like if you put more in the center, it works a little bit better. So that's what we're going to be doing. There's a few ways you can obviously attach this. I actually don't recommend hot gluing it or gluing it down at all, but because the hi-hat and the cymbal gets used so much, we're going to probably have to end up doing that. So what you're going to do is get your sensor, you're going to place it down, and then you're just going to hot glue it in 4 little tiny areas, like right here, right here, right here, and right here. And I'm going to go warm up my hot glue gun so I can show you what it looks like while I do it. So give me 1 second here and I'll be right back. Alright guys, so our hot glue gun should be all warmed up here, so I'm going to show you how to really put this down. Now again, I recommend only doing this in the hi-hat and cymbal because the way that this is put in is kind of awkward compared to the snare and toms. So the way this gets hit all the time, if you had it just taped down, it's going to come loose and it's going to fall off, and then no one's going to be able to trigger it. So again, only hot glue it down in the hi-hat and cymbal. So all you're going to do is going to go on the side right here like this. Make sure it's center. Nice little even coat. Just like that. Oop, I was a little off center, so let's try that again. It doesn't have to be perfectly center, but I'm just being really picky. Because that's just the way I am. Everything needs to be perfect. So let's give that a second to kind of cool down here. We can move on. I'm sure you guys are enjoying my nice pink hot glue gun. Because pink's my favorite color. And no, I am not gay. I just like pink. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so I mean that's pretty much it. That's all you're really gonna have to do for the hot gluing. For like the other sensors, like the snare and toms, you're gonna want to actually tape it down in this pad. So that's what we're gonna be doing anyways for this sensor as well, because just to make sure it holds in place, we're gonna be doing that. So I grab my electric tape, which should be around here somewhere. There it is. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your electric tape, you're gonna stretch it across like that, and just place it like 3 times around it so the sensor is completely covered in electric tape. That's pretty much the goal here, is just to make sure it's secure in the hi-hat and cymbal, or any R pad you're doing on, because this is already glued down, obviously, but in the snare and high tom, or the snare, high tom, low tom, just tape it, because you're not going to need any of this extra glue or anything, because it just doesn't affect it that much. So let's see how this is doing. Okay, so we can start on the one end. Just kind of push it down. Just like that. And next one. Just like that. And we gotta do one more. That should take care of it. It also doesn't really matter where your wires are sticking out. If you're putting your sensor up here where the original was, just make sure that these aren't facing that way, face them towards center. Because this is in the center, it's not really going to end up mattering. So just keep that in mind. You want to have some, let's pretend I wanted to tape this up here or something. That way I could do that if I wanted to. That's kind of how you want to think about it. Okay. Alright guys, sorry about the last video getting cut off a little bit. This is what your pad is going to look like completely taped down. As you can see, I covered the whole sensor in electric tape. And also what I did was I stripped a little bit of the stuff around the wire off, so I have a little bit more wire to work with when I put this into my machine. I also hot glued this one piece down, if you noticed that, because it's actually missing its little nuts here. And this thing never comes out of where it's placed, so I just want to make sure that was going to be secure there, so you're never have to worry about it. But yeah, so now you're going to plug this into your machine and you should have a working sensor again. And let's go ahead and give it a shot. Alright guys, I just got the game onto the floor just now, so it's right next to its old home, next to Guitar Freaks. And everything is working awesome. I did kind of fix up the kick pedal, but I didn't make a video about the kick pedal because it's kind of a trial and error sort of thing, and it's kind of self-explanatory because all there is to it is a micro switch. But yeah, got this on the floor. As you can see, the marquee looks awesome. The entire bezel, the glass panel in front of the monitor has been cleaned. It's been dirty ever since I got the machine. So now it looks really, really clean and awesome. The whole cabinet got cleaned before I put it on the floor. And I had some small little things on the side of the machine, like this thing that kind of lets you know all the different codes. Like you'll press and hold start, you can get options. You'll hold kick and hit green, it'll sort songs, all that good stuff. And then I also had this little trinket here. It lets you know 50 cents, 4 songs, long version, 2 songs. I don't know how long that's going to last staying on the card reader. This is kind of a test to see, I guess. Because I want to put stuff like this on all my arcade machines, but if they're going to get ripped off, then I'm not going to end up doing it. But right now, it's day 1, and it's on there. It was literally wheeled on the floor like 10 minutes ago. So yeah. DrumMania is completely done now. I'm going to be working on our arcade cabinets very, very soon. So if you guys enjoyed this, there's going to be more to come. So thanks for watching.